Hi, Bill here with 30 Minute Woodshop. Thanks for joining. So, had a lot of comments and questions about getting started in woodworking. People don't have the tools, don't know how, don't know what to do. So I want to give you a brief 6 tools that you need to get started in woodworking. Okay, I'm going to make this pretty quick, so not going to go into a lot of detail, but here's a couple things. The very first thing you need is a pencil. Okay, now we all work with number 2 pencils, got them in school, use them all the time. What I'm recommending actually is a mechanical pencil. And not just any mechanical pencil, but a 2mm lead mechanical pencil. These things are phenomenal, okay? Absolutely phenomenal. I've used these forever. I still use the regular number 2s, but this thing is great because it has an integrated sharpener, pull it off, give it a couple twists, okay? And I have a nice sharp point. The reason that's important is because the pencil is what lays the line that I have to cut to. The more accurate the line is, the more accurate my cut. All right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is I need a square. All right? This happens to be a combination square because it's got 90 and a 45. These are very common. I recommend a Starrett combination square. Yes, they're expensive. Got it. Absolutely. But they're worth every penny you pay for it because, again, go back to accuracy. The more accurate your lines are, the more accurate your cuts are, the more accurate your project is, the better it looks, the easier it assembles. Okay? So, you need a square. Again, Starrett. I'd go with a Starrett square myself. Matter of fact, I do have, here's another Starrett square I have. This happens to be a 2-foot blade. The reason I use a 2-foot blade is because most of my projects fall between 6 inches and about 18 inches. So this works out pretty good. Might be a little bit much for you guys though. So now, I've managed to get everything marked up, right? I've got my marking and measuring. Well, measuring, guess what? Now I got to figure out where to put that line. Yo-yo, all right? You need a good tape measure. You need a good tape measure. Let me say it one more time, a good tape measure. A lot of times you get these things, and nothing wrong with our Chinese friends, but what they're doing is they're translating between metric and English, all right? Rather than just give you an English. Problem with that is they're always a little off, all right? Sometimes a lot off. So make sure you invest in a good one, a name brand, all right? Milwaukee, Stanley, DeWalt, pick something that's good, all right? This happens to be Milwaukee. I love Milwaukee for a couple reasons. One is the fact that the blade itself is coated in nylon. It makes it much longer life. A lot of them you'll get, they're just paint, and the paint wears off real fast. Next thing is that everything's marked here in 1/4 and 1/8 inches, so I can actually see it says 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, right, and so on and so forth, all the way down the length. Third thing is, don't bother getting a 25-footer. You guys are never going to use it. This is the bulk of your work is going to be done right here in that 6 inches to 3-foot range. Even if you're hanging a picture, you know, 6, 7 feet is probably most you're ever going to use. So get one that's easy to handle, compact. All right, this happens to be a 16-footer, but a 12 or 16-footer works perfectly. And quite frankly, for a lot of projects, you really need like a 3-footer. Those are hard to find. Quality 3-foot tape measures are very hard to find. So go with that 12 or 16-foot from a name brand. Again, Milwaukee is what I prefer. So that would be a really, really good one to go. But now that I have everything measured and marked, next thing I got to do is I got to cut. Now, you could use a hand tool, right? You could use a handsaw. But here, okay? Absolutely, absolutely use a circle saw, all right? This happens to be Milwaukee. I'm moving toward battery-powered tools. I chose Milwaukee. I chose Milwaukee for a lot of reasons. But once you choose, let's say you choose Ryobi, you're going to get everything that's going to be Ryobi because you don't want to have multiple types of battery packs laying around. This way, if the battery runs out of here, I can grab the battery from here. These happen to be M18 tools. I can run the battery packs for my other tools, my driver and whatnot. Make a selection, and that's what you're going to go with. Again, I recommend Milwaukee. These tools are great. Actually, this particular Milwaukee I love because there's a lot of metal parts on this. It's not all plastic, raggedy, sloppy crap. All right. I can set a 45 degree on this that fast, and it's good. I can use this, and it's good within a half a degree, a little bit less, and I've run that check several times just to make sure. Love Milwaukee. Same with setting the blade depth. I flip the lever, I could move the foot and it set the blade depth. It runs perfectly. That's it. Okay, now that I get the parts cut, right? They're all marked and cut. I got to hold everything. I got to get everything put together. The way to do that is I use clamps. Okay. Now, what I have here, this is actually a Bessie Tradesman or professional clamp, and you can see it just slides right along. Super easy to use, and I'll tell you what, 30-minute wood shop is all about fast and easy. I like the Bessie clamps for two reasons. First of all, because Tradesman allows me to do that. Second of all, is these are made in Germany, and quite frankly, you don't get a much better tool than Bessie clamps made in Germany. All right, these things are awesome. If you're getting these, get the 18-inch, whatever you choose. Get an 18-inch clamp. And the reason is the bulk of your work is going to be done someplace between that 6-inch and that probably 12, 13, 14-inch range. An 18-inch clamp will be able to clamp all that stuff together. You're going to need two, at least two, probably four. Okay, so I got those. I do want to show you something else, though. Here's another Bessie clamp. Again, I love Bessie. This is a clutch clamp. So what happens is I just push it forward and clamp up. And then what I do to release, I have a little release thing. And that releases it. Okay? And it won't pop back at all until I release it. These have a place. I'm really not sold on these because they take more effort and work to use. The Tradesman, for me, work much better. But this might be a good option for you if you're kind of clumsy. Sorry. If you're kind of clumsy, this might work better for you. So now I get the parts all clamped up. Now what do I have to do? Now I got to, pardon me, now I got to fasten it. I got to get everything, screwed, bolted, nut, hammered together, or whatever. A couple ways you can do that once it's all clamped up is I can put glue on it. I can just clamp it and glue it. There are some projects that's all you need. Some projects you need a nail. All right, you can use small nails, whatever. Get a hammer and nails, works perfectly. Or, I don't know if you guys can hear the background, but I got a guy next door mowing his lawn. So, anyway, so one of the tools you're going to need is a drill. All right, well, this is actually a drill motor because it doesn't have a drill bit in it. All right, drill motor, drill bit goes in here. Now, all that said, same kind of thing with the battery pack. I chose Milwaukee. I chose Milwaukee because of its durability, capability, and all those kind of things. But I'll say this: whenever you're choosing a drill, whatever your centerpiece is of your tools is going to be, make sure that they meet your needs. Here's one thing that I liked about Milwaukee. See that light? That light shines directly on the workpiece. I had one where they were mounted up here. It looked really cool, like headlights. But what happened was it cast the shadow, and I never could see where the drill point was going. What a pain in the butt. I hated that thing. So make sure whatever thing you're going to get meets your needs. Now, here's something else. This drill motor will be the single thing you use the most in your life. Because, let's face it, you're putting up curtains, you're putting up pictures, you're doing all kinds of things for the wife or girlfriend. This is the tool you reach for. All right, so make sure that whatever you choose, that you choose a tool that will do the job for you. All right. But again, I went Milwaukee. I'm sold in Milwaukee. All right. So those are the 6 tools. Now I told you there'd be a couple more. Let's talk about safety. All right. First of all, power tools. Always read and follow the power tool directions, safety directions. You absolutely have to do that. This blade spins something like, I don't know, I'm guessing 1,700 to 2,000 RPM. The blade tips are moving at 120 miles an hour. What that means is it's spitting off pieces that at 120 miles an hour. So those little chips flying off, they're flying pretty fast. All right. What that means is this. It makes a ton of noise. Let's see. Ouch. That's without cutting. You add cutting to that, the actual cutting process, and that noise is going to go up, probably about 30 or 40%. So, first of all, hearing protection. Wear hearing protection. Get a good set of earmuffs. All right, these happen to be isotunes. I like isotunes for a lot of reasons. These happen to be, Bluetooth integrated, so integrated in my phone. I can listen to music. I can answer telephone calls. Also, too, if you're standing here talking to me and I have these on, I don't have to take them off because they have an omnidirectional mic and they'll transmit that voice through at a normal conversational level. So I can hear what you're saying, provided, of course, the saw's not running. All right. Great piece of equipment. I highly recommend Isotunes. There's some other cheaper Chinese things out there I wouldn't bother with. If it looks cheap or it is cheap, it's probably not very good. I'm just going to say, because there's a lot of electronics and software that goes into this. Keep that in mind. Okay. Last thing is going to be safety glasses. Now, I already have integrated safety glasses here because that's what I get when I buy my glasses. Guys, make sure you protect your eyes. All right. As I said, stuff's coming off here at 120 miles an hour, maybe more. I haven't actually done the calculation, but here's the deal: something hits your eyeball at 120 miles an hour, it's going to hurt. Okay. Not only that, it's probably going to do some damage and can do some very serious damage. You don't want to end up being blind. Not for the price of safety glasses. Safety glasses are super cheap. You got like 20 pair for like $30 from 3M. Okay? And a lot of guys whining and complaining because, oh my God, they're all scratched up, I can't see. You know what you do with those? Throw them in the trash. So they're $30, 20 part pieces, 20 pairs. Absolutely get those. So, take care of your ears, take care of your eyes. Safety is very important. Very important. All right, now, that's it. These 6 tools, some safety equipment, and you're good to go. You can build anything. And like I said, the next video I'm putting out is going to be one that we're going to use this exact same tool set. Super easy to do. Very quick, very easy. Like I said, you can get this done using simple tools. All right, now, go down here at 30minutewoodshop.com. You can find a blog. All right, it'll give you all the information and details, pretty much just what I just said. It'll give you the links. Also, if you just go down here at the bottom, hit more, you'll find links and things that you can actually click on. Check out those tools, these tools here, plus some other tools that I use. You might find that interesting. And hey, I hope you got something out of this. And if you did, do me a favor, hit like and subscribe. I really appreciate that. And until next time, well, until the next video, hey, good making, folks.